So I have my client Ashley with me today, and I'm super excited about this because her story and her transformation is definitely just absolutely incredible. And I think a lot of mamas can relate to your story and gain a lot from watching what you have to say about your experience. So I'm really excited for you. So we will go ahead and start. Take me back. Take me back before the challenge, before Inner Alpha Fitness. What was life like before anything?
Okay, so like before the challenge for sure, I feel like I was like, well, one, I had just given birth to like Eli, like a few months before the challenge. So, and I knew I wanted to like get back into the gym and I knew I wanted to start working on things, but I feel like I didn't realize until like probably like December that I had gained so much weight back after losing so much. I literally was like 185 when I like gave birth, and then I went back down to 145. I lost all 45 pounds or 40 pounds in like the first month. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then I didn't realize though like how much I was eating. I had no idea. I was also my first time breastfeeding, so it was crazy. So I don't know, like I stepped on the scale for the first time like the beginning of December, and I was like, what? Like I
Yeah.
was honestly appalled because within literally September I lost, October I lost everything, and literally from like November to like basically in like a month and a half, I had literally gained 20 pounds back in a month and a half. And I was disgusted with myself. I was super upset because I was like, man, like I thought breastfeeding was supposed to help, like lose all this weight. And I don't know. Like I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, like, ew, basically. And I have never really been fully happy with like my body. I've always again found something wrong with it. So like I was sitting there and I was looking in the mirror and I'm like, dude, I was like, you're so fat. Like this is disgusting. This is ugly. Like your man's probably looking at you like, ew, like probably like is like, like grossed
Yeah.
out. Like I'm grossed out. I was grossed out. So I was really upset with myself with how far I let it go. So that's when I reached out to Anne Marie and stuff and was just like, kind of touched base with her on the whole challenge thing and was like, all right, I'm going to do it. I was like, screw it. We're going to get through December. January is the next one coming up. And I had seen all the results and I'd really like looked into it. And I was like, you know what? Ari's like, this is going to be my kickstart. So when I like went to sign up, I was like nervous because I was like, oh my God, I had to send in pictures. Like I was not looking forward to that. So like, I don't know, like Ashley before the challenge was like very embarrassed. Like I didn't want to take pictures. I didn't want to be in pictures. And then I think it was like when I finally saw the picture of myself from New Year's, like New Year's Eve, I saw a picture of like our group of girls on New Year's Eve and I saw it and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I can't believe that I got that big.
Yeah.
I'm literally 5'1" on a good day. So me getting back up and getting that extra 20 pounds and being 165 pounds, like it was not a good look. And you could just see it. It was everywhere. It was in my face, in my thighs, in my legs, in my stomach, in my arms. Like it was everywhere. And I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. So
Yeah.
it's like, I knew I needed to do something. And so
Yeah.
that I was like, the challenge it is.
So take me through now that we recapped what it was. Take me through your experience in the challenge, both physically and mentally. How did you feel just during the challenge?
Okay, so just during the challenge, like I said in the beginning, I was really nervous. I didn't really want to sit there and give pictures. That was something that I was like, I'm gonna take these and I'm literally gonna be even more disgusted with myself. But going into it and going in and like having to make like doing the initial like what's the video called? Like the like introducing yourself and stuff. I feel like looking back, like I think about the video I posted and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm not that person that I was anymore. Like I'm not that anymore. I was really shy and I was really like timid and kind of scared to put myself out there with everything. So I kind of, I don't know. I feel like I didn't really put as much, I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it, like personality into it as
Yeah.
I could have, because I was just kind of embarrassed of what I looked like and how far I had gotten down and stuff like that. But I think the first thing that happened was like the first week of videos was one super hard. I was obviously really out of shape. But I was proud of myself for doing it. Like I got through the first week and stuff, but I was still looking in the mirror and I was still sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, you're trying, but like praying that it did something significant because I just didn't want to look like that anymore. But then I think it wasn't until like the first mindset call that Saturday that I hopped on, and literally that is when it like clicked. That's when it changed everything for me. That's when I kind of sat back and was like, oh my God, they're right. Like I've been living life all wrong.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of one of those things where like I don't know, you know you're doing these things, bullying yourself, you know you're talking down to yourself, you know you know degrading yourself by saying all these things to yourself in the mirror, and no one else is hearing it, you know, but you're listening to it in your head and you're thinking it. And you know, you never realize that those things, what those things are doing to you. And then when that first mindset call was over, I remember sitting down in the living room and both the kids were in here. And so was my boyfriend. And I literally sat there and I was like, all right, we are going to think about the things that we just talked about. You didn't hear it, but I heard it and I'm going to tell you about it. So I literally sat there and kind of like was like, all right, well, we're going to talk about things we that we like about ourselves, things that we can do better about ourselves. We're going to talk about affirmations. And I mean, I sat here with my kids and my family and just kind of did that. And then for me, it made me feel better to know, because I know my kids probably do the same thing I do because they're part of me. So going through that first 21 days, I think was tough because the mindset stuff was like the biggest thing for me, going through that and kind of learning to like stop doing the things that I was doing, stop bullying myself and stop degrading myself and stop thinking bad things about myself and start thinking of the things that I did like about myself, and telling myself the things that I knew I was going to become and manifesting that and putting that into the world so that it would be put out into existence, and then it would just be. So that was my biggest thing. I mean, I definitely lost a few inches with the challenge. I lost 5 pounds with the challenge. Again, I was breastfeeding through the entire challenge. So I feel like I probably could have got a lot more out of the challenge had I not been breastfeeding, because I was so conscious of like, oh my God, is this going to affect my milk? Am I going to, you know, make enough to supply for my baby and this and that? So I think that was kind of hard, but I mean, just the fact that like I got that kickstart and I was walking up the stairs and not like completely running out of breath anymore and stuff, that was probably the biggest thing that I got from the challenge, was being more confident. And I felt confident at the end, like at the very closeout call and stuff. Amory had even said, she was like, you are not the same person that you were 21 days ago. Like, and I feel like the same person that I was 21 days before. So
you had quite a transformation in just the challenge. So what made you decide to move forward with Breakthrough, our one-on-one coaching program? Like, why didn't you just take the information we gave you and go and try and do it on your own?
I think the main reason was the community that came with Inner Alpha Fitness, and the fact that every single day, if I was having a hard day, all I would have to do was go into the group and like talk to them about it. And then they would basically, you know, kind of help lift me back up, you know, if I was having a hard day or if I needed guidance on something, you know, reaching out to to Jen and stuff it was, it was so easy. I mean, people are literally there 24/7 to help you. And I think that's the biggest thing is it was not only holding myself accountable, but having those people there that are doing the same thing I'm doing. We're all there for such a common goal. And that community, that tribe that came along with Inner Alpha I think that was just such a big thing because as much as like I have other friends and stuff that are like, they watch their weight or they go to the gym and stuff or whatever, they weren't going through they weren't going through the mindset changes. They weren't going through the same journey I was, like I joke and say, like, I can't wait for people to be a part of our cult, like it's not a cult, it's a tribe, but like, nobody gets it until they go through it. Nobody gets it. And I think for me, I just wasn't ready to let that go. I wasn't ready to even attempt it on my own because I knew, one, if I attempted it on my own, I probably wasn't going to stick to it. And then two, like, I felt like there wasn't going to be anybody else that was be able to give me the mindset with it. And having somebody to, like you to reach out to and I reached out to you multiple times when I was like, I'm having a mental breakdown. I need to talk right now. Like having you there and like jumping on those calls and like, having you walk me through stuff, that was just such a huge thing. And I don't think that I wouldn't have been, who was going to do that for me if I was doing it by myself? Nobody, like, so that I knew I wasn't ready to give that up. I wasn't ready to give that up at all. So
then what was your experience? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit just a second ago. What was your experience in breakthrough, physically and mentally during the 4 months?
So during the 4 months, I saw so many different changes. And the first month, I feel like was the biggest, like, I don't know, the biggest like hoop to jump through because I went to the gym and I know like at first I had gotten, a routine that was for the gym and I was like, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. And then I got a routine for at home too. And it was one of those things where I was so nervous to go to the gym and I really don't think I was actually fully ready. But the first week I went with my boyfriend and we went together at night and that kind of helped a little bit. But I think once I got into the groove of like my routine after that first week, I was like, okay, well, morning times are better. So then I got into the morning time. So I would go in the morning, I'd nurse Eli at like 4 or 5 in the morning. And then I'd literally get my clothes on, get ready, and I'd be out the door and I'd be gone. So while he went back to sleep, I went to the gym and I had that time for myself. And I think within that first month, kind of just getting a feel for everything that I was doing, tracking my calories, counting, all of those, and tracking my macros and everything, and kind of just getting a feel for it. I think that was the biggest thing, because at the end of that month, when I like looked at my pictures, I had put, the first set kind of next to the other ones, because I mean, on the outside, I was like, oh, I don't really feel like I'm seeing a bunch of difference, and I don't think I really lost a whole bunch within that first month. But again, I was breastfeeding still, so I was like, well, maybe it's that. But then when I saw the difference in pictures, I was shocked, because I didn't expect there to be so much of a difference that it was. So that was really kind of like, oh snap. And that's kind of when I was like, all right, cool, like we're doing this. So then came the next month, and then I saw more changes, and then my breastfeeding journey ended and stuff. So then it was like kicking it into high gear, and going from like the calories that I thought I needed and stuff, going into the calories that like was going into a true calorie deficit. And then that's when it just all, there it was, like it just started falling off all the weight, and I don't know, it just felt good. And from then on, I kept putting the first picture to the next, to that week that I turned in, to the check-in, you know, that picture to that picture. And I just kept doing it over and over again. And the more and more results that I saw, and the more weight that I saw just come off, and the more changes that I saw in my body, I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, you look like a whole different person. Like your side by sides are a whole new human. So definitely had a complete body recomposition and
Yeah.
just overall feeling good. So tell me about, we talked about before anything. So tell me about life now. How do you feel? How are you doing? All of that life now after breakthrough.
So I'm feeling good. 36 pounds down and countless inches. I can't even tell you how many inches. Like the pictures just are insane to see side by side.
Yeah.
But I feel good. I feel like I have a really big, I feel like my mindset has been shifted so much within the past, 5 months, that I just look back and I'm like, gosh, like I literally used to, it wasn't just a fitness journey. It was a lot of mindset, and it was like I don't even know the word for it, like finding yourself kind of, because I feel like there's things that I felt like I dealt with in my personal life a lot that I hated dealing with, but I would just deal with it because I felt like I had to. And then going through all of our mindset calls and going through all of our talks, and just the program itself, like literally made me kind of like reevaluate a lot of things that I was putting up with. And then I stopped putting up with a lot of stuff. And so
Yeah.
now, honestly, I feel better mentally. I haven't been on any of my anxiety medications since I think like end of March, like beginning of April, which that wasn't even a goal of mine. I know we talked about that. I never intended on stopping the medication. I took it the entire time I was pregnant. I never planned on stopping that, but it ended up just happening, and my brain is less foggy. I feel like I think a lot clearer. And I think, I mean, everything that I feel right now, I definitely owe all to breakthrough, because I don't think I would have felt this way at all had I not done the program.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love that you're feeling so good. And the wins, you had huge physical wins, but that
Yeah.
weren't even like the biggest thing really. It was, all of the mindset shifts and everything like that. So what do you feel like is the number one reason why people don't ask for help around health and fitness? Because there's so many people out there that try to do it on their own over and over and over again, and all these different fad diets, or not investing in a coach. So why do you feel like is the number one reason why people don't get help when it comes to their health and fitness?
One, I think that they are standing in their own way, because a lot of times people think they do know everything, and they think that they don't need help. I didn't think that I needed help. I mean, I was an avid gym goer years before. I had worked out many of times, like I knew the machines, I knew exercises and stuff, but I thought I knew what I was doing. But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that people think they know, and they don't actually know them. And then embarrassment,
Yeah.
like me, I was kind of embarrassed I was so embarrassed to put my before pictures in. I was disgusted with myself, and I could only imagine what everybody else was going to think looking at them, and I didn't know, what was going to happen with them. I
Right.
never planned on posting my before pictures ever, ever. I was like, nobody's going to see this because that's disgusting and I don't like it,
Yeah.
but the difference was so significant, so significant. So I just think people are crazy. They're standing in their own way. They're embarrassed, or they think they know everything, and really they don't. And I don't know, maybe they're scared. Maybe they're scared that somebody's gonna sit there and not sugarcoat stuff for them, and not be like, oh well, let me hold your hand that you can cry a little, and let's be upset about your weight. Be like, no, stop being upset. Do something about it. Stop standing in your own way. Like you have time. You just need to prioritize it.
Right.
So
So if your best friend was watching this and she really needed some support around health and fitness goals, what advice would you give her?
get help. Like, stop thinking that you know what you're doing, because you probably don't. I still don't even know completely what I'm doing, you know. There's so much room for advancement or bettering yourself. And she might not think that she needs the help or the mindset shift, when in reality she gets into something and gets into the challenge, and then she goes through the mindset shift. She's like, oh my God, I never knew I needed that. I didn't know I needed it until it happened. So
Yeah.
I mean, just stop being afraid and invest in yourself. If there's anything that you can do for yourself, it's investing in yourself.
Yeah, I love that. And one of my favorite things Anne Marie says is you don't know what you don't know. You
Yeah.
can't help it, you know? So
Right.
getting help is only going to push you further because you don't know everything, even though we
Right.
want to think that. But so I love that. Well, that's all I got for you, girl. And I'll let you go have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for sharing your story, because definitely can help a lot of women relate to you and, you know, help transform their lives. So I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Thank you.